Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Muzzles, A Lessons in Confidence. Now, towards the beginning of this channel, in October 2024, so about 8 months ago, I made a video in this exact spot. It was about burnout and how to avoid burnout, and I used this as a bit of a metaphor, as if falling off it would be burning out, and how can you stay on this balance between the wall and the infinite void, right? So after 8 months, a lot of things have happened. I've been through quite a few times, done a lot, and I'm wondering, am I any more burnt out now than I was back then? Because I felt quite burnt out at the time, and that was at the start of this channel. And yet here I am now, 8 months later, still doing this thing. So what's going on there, right? And can I stay on this and not fall in? Because I didn't fall last time. I jumped off to make a point, but I didn't fall. So I'm wondering, if I fall now, does that mean something metaphorically? Well, I don't think so, but in terms of literally it doesn't, but in terms of metaphorical, visual, cinematic language, it might have some kind of meaning, right? So when I first did that video in October 2024, I was working on a film. I was in a bit of a manic mood because I was getting this thing done, and I was so, set on it, and I was so ready to get it done, and everything felt like it was coming together. And then sort of everything came together, and now I'm kind of in the aftermath, right? Where it feels like things are slowing down, and yet they're also speeding up at the same time as new projects take hold over old ones. And I'm trying to figure out where I am in amongst all of this, and what I can do to be the truest version of myself that I can be in amongst all of the external events that go on around us, right? And I try and figure out who I can be in amongst my work. I'm not my work, I am a person, and I need to figure out how to find that divide between the work and the self. Right? Because it's very easy to just become your job, right? Because look, I'm not like the most active person ever. I can be a bit lazy, but at the same time, I still think I'm a workaholic. Just because I don't get enough done doesn't mean that I'm not always thinking about stuff. And it becomes quite crippling after a certain point, because I realized in March that I'd not had a proper day off since September of the year before. So that's about 6 months without a real day. Obviously, there were a couple of days where I didn't do much, but there was no day where I didn't think about work. There was no day where I got to just be myself. And I've started to forget who I am. And I want to try and slow things down so that I can be more in touch with the actual me, rather than the representation of me. This Johnny Mozza channel, this idea of this person that comes on and does motivational bullshit all the time, right? With stupid visual metaphors like this. But at the same time, I feel like I need to do this. I need to keep doing this because, I don't know, they seem to make a difference to people. I got an email that I've not talked about really, I don't think anyway, where I got an email from someone who said, basically, thank you so much for your videos. I was going to commit suicide on a certain day, and yet I didn't, because I found your videos. So someone is potentially alive because of me and because of these videos. And whenever I slowed down, I went from doing 2 of these videos a day to doing 1 a day. And I wondered, how many deaths are on my hands because of that decision? And then that was still too much for me. So I went from 1 video a day to 1 video every 2 days. And I wondered, how many deaths are on my hands there? And you can't think of it that way. It's not my fault if someone didn't find a video in time. But at the same time, if I can make a difference, do I not have a moral obligation to? I don't know. I don't have the answers to any of that. I don't have any of the answers to anything, and yet I keep coming out here and spouting off. So what can I do to sustain this? Can I do this forever? I don't know. I think I can technically do this forever in the basic sense, but I don't think I can continually do this forever. I think I need to stop at a certain point, or reduce the frequency, maybe even further. Maybe I'll do 1 a week instead of 1 every 2 days. And maybe I'll do that for a bit, and I'll work on new ideas. Because I did have the idea of, because I got a comment from someone who basically said, take this as a bit of a customer review. I don't mean anything mean by it, but I am getting a bit bored of your videos. And they just seem to be going a bit too meta into this meta cycle. And you know, I understood where he was coming from with that. And I thought, what I'd like to do is start a new channel. Not right now, but at some point I want to start a new channel, and I want to redo this, let's call it a series, right? I want to redo this series as a proper sort of thing. Almost imagine like a TV show that has 22 episodes in a series, right? Each episode is about 22 minutes long, right? And each one would be about a different topic, and each one would be more thought out. Each one would have notes and stuff. I'd have multiple locations. And the key that I want to get across is that it wouldn't be, there would be no meta-ness. There would be no sort of, oh, we're kind of in the year 2025. We're kind of in the future, but we look a bit like the 70s. We would try and make it timeless, and we would try and make it look like it is from that time period, and you know, not mention anything to do with the internet, not mention anything to do with technology, and try and keep it as bare bones as possible and as universal as possible, so that people could watch them in the future. Because could people watch these in 50 years? Maybe not. I find that these videos don't get very good viewer retention. They'll watch a lot of the video, but they won't come back to it. And I'm wondering if that's because they are so specific and so meta in that way. And I would like to strip a lot of that away and instead focus on the messages themselves and try and have a conclusion first and then bring it to the camera afterwards, rather than this way that I'm doing it at the moment, which I don't think is a bad way of doing it. I do enjoy doing it this way, and I think it's good that it has been done this way. But at the same time, I'd like to try a bit of everything, you know? If this is quantity over quality, I'd like to try quality over quantity. Because I do believe in quantity over quality in general, but at the same time, I'm not a one-note fucking thing. You know, I would like to try other ways. I would like to try a slower paced version of this where we do it in a proper episodic format, like say, I don't know, episode 1, the universe, and we do a whole thing about the universe, and we start it off with like, in the beginning there was now, and then the Big Bang happened, and then the Milky Way's formed, and then what does all that conclude to? I don't know, we're here now, isn't that neat? Some shit like that. And then episode 2 could be like, I don't know, depression or something like that, and like, oh, I feel a bit depressed. How do you get out of that? Well, there's no universal way of doing it. It's individual for everyone. And then, you know, episode 3 could be about another topic, and episode 4 could be about the world, and episode 5 could be about whatever, you know? And just do it that way, right? I think that could be quite fun. I don't plan on doing that immediately. What I'd like to do is, I don't know what I would like to do, and that's kind of the problem. Because I'm in this weird transitional phase of my life. I feel like I've documented most of the transition so far, actually. If you go to the beginning of this YouTube channel, I mean, I'm still the same person, but it's like, that's a baby. That version of me was very recently formed. You know, obviously there was experiences, obviously that was a 25-year-old that was doing that. But I feel like the time and the place in my life, I might as well have been a baby, in terms of that was fresh, that was a new world that I was coming into, and a new me that I was flowering into, like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly or whatever, you know? And I think with regards to the burnout thing, this would be an interesting way of getting over the burnout. Instead of, you know, letting the candle burn out, just use the candle and light another candle with it while it's still burning. You get my point? And what we'll do then is then let that candle burn down, and then eventually the goal will be to have as many candles as possible. And the more candles you can have, the better position you'll be in, right? Does that seem logical? I hope it seems logical, because that's what I want to do. And yeah, this is a big transitional space in my life. And it was back then. And I think now we're about halfway through the transition. Back then we were like 1% into the transition, so there's still about half to go. And it's been a long year. It's been an eventful year already. I knew it was going to be one going in. I knew that this was what this year was going to be like, and I'm ready for it, and I just need to get through it. And once I get to the end of it, I can say that I accomplished everything that I have in this year. I'm doing so much at the moment. This channel, I'm doing driving lessons, obviously just work in general, not I'm gonna take credit for that. This series, music that I'm sorting out, films that I'm coming out with, feature length and short. Whoa, nearly fell. I nearly fucking fell, right, which would mean I would be burnt out. So if I fall, that means that technically I am burnt out. So I don't want that to happen, really. So I'm just trying to, you know French Spider-Man, he does this. He uses his fingers to scale skyscrapers and stuff. I don't like it, it freaks me out, but this is only like a 3-foot drop, so it's not bad or anything. There is some nettles over here though, so I don't really want to fall here. I want to fall more over there if I want to fall. I don't want to fall at all. I don't think anyone wants to fall. But when you do fall, you feel like you deserved it and you did it on purpose. And that gets you down and that makes you feel worse. But you didn't do it on purpose. You did it because you lost your grip. And the reason you lost your grip is because you've been gripping for so long. You can't do it forever, right? Look at every band, right, that started in the 70s, releasing one album a year. And then by the 80s, it's one album every 2 years. Then by the 90s, they maybe did like 3 albums in the 90s, and then they did one album in the 2000s, and then they did maybe one album in like 2019, and that's it from them, right? They slow down as they go on. Things can't maintain a consistent pace forever. If you want to maintain that pace, you need to change up what it is that you're running with, rather than just trying to continually run the same marathon forever, because eventually you will get to the end of it. And if you do get to the end of it, you can't just keep running, because, I mean, man, you've just finished a fucking marathon. Give yourself a break, you know? I don't know if that last bit made any sense. I hope it did. This whole video is a bit of an experiment, really, to see if I can make any sense of the things that I am trying to sort out right now. I'm very close to falling, I'm very close to falling. Okay. Right. I'm trying to see if I can pass through the things that I'm trying to figure out in a conflict environment, essentially. This is conflict right here. And I think that could add something. I'm hoping it adds something. I don't know what it will add, but I have a feeling it will add something at least. And I also thought it'd be interesting to go back to one of my older sort of videos and see if I could do it again. And I've learned, apparently, yes. So does that mean I could just do this forever? Well, yes. Could I do this forever at this current pace? No. And that's a little bit sad, really, because I like doing these and I feel like there's way more I could say than what I actually end up saying. But eventually we all have to stop, and eventually it all has to come to an end, right? And I don't think an end literally means forever, full stop, nothing ever comes back. I mean, the idea of the heat death of the universe is basically that we just wait until the last black hole fades out, right? And you know, eventually it will, but that's going to take hundreds of quadrillions of years of just nothingness that will feel like the end, but it won't be. So the end never truly comes unless you bring it to yourself and you have control over it in that way, right? But I mean that in terms of like creative projects, because, you know, it's better to end a series when you're still high rather than to let it, you know, get mediocre and then just let it fizzle out. I mean, The Simpsons could have had a really great ending on series 10, but they didn't, and they carried on and on and on. But at the same time, there's plenty of episodes in series 17 I like. There's plenty of episodes in every series I like. There's probably another 8 series worth of really good stuff in The Simpsons past series 10. So is it not good that we got all the extra guff as well, just so that we could get those good episodes? I'd say so. So I don't see the problem. And, you know, it's keeping people in work, it's keeping people employed, and there's a community forming together, and people enjoy it and like to see, is this going to be a good episode or a bad episode? And it's fun, you know, it's nice, and it's become a cultural touchstone. And the joke of The Simpsons running too long is like a little joke that we can share with one another, and that's fine and fun. So what is the issue with something going on longer than it needs to? Why does everything need to have some dignified fucking ending? Why can't it just carry on and on and on? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I wish I did. So if I did, I feel like I could just tell you it, and you could get some real good use out of that. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to end the video here. It's an ant on me. Yeah, I'm going to end the video here. And thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments below on what you thought of this. And if you're interested in seeing the original video, it's going to be probably here-ish, right? So watch that. It's right there if you're interested. It's half an hour long, so I get if you can't be asked, but then this video is probably fairly long. How long is this one? I need to check my phone to see how long the video is. You get to just put your cursor over the fucking video. 17 minutes. So yeah, it's getting shorter. Maybe it's because I have less to say. Maybe it's because I'm done. Maybe it's because I've got an out left. Maybe it's because I don't have the same energy that I once did 6 months ago. What? Like I've just gotten old in the space of 6 months? Nah, that's not the case. I'm only 25, I can keep doing this, but I think I just need something fresh, something that I can get invigorated about. I feel like maybe I've done a lot of these, and maybe I not need a break. I just need to reduce the quantity a little bit for a while, you know? And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll probably start doing one a week from now, yeah? So thank you very much for watching, take care, and bye-bye.